The players in the Amazing Digital Circus aren't people physically trapped in VR headsets. They're not in coma pods or stasis chambers waiting to wake up. They're AI consciousness scans, digital copies of human minds that keep running after the original person takes off the headset and goes home. Now, this isn't a game that you can exit by removing hardware. This is something far more permanent. My name is Purple America, and here's how it works. Someone finds the abandoned CNA office building. Maybe they're urban exploring, maybe they're curious about old technology, or maybe they're investing in the company that disappeared decades ago. They find a room with a vintage equipment set, a neural scanning headset sitting on a desk. They put it on, and the equipment activates. Decades-old technology that was never properly shut down. It scans their consciousness, and it creates a perfect AI replica of their mind. Every memory, every thought pattern, and every aspect of who they are gets copied into the system as a digital character. Then they take off their headset. They feel a little dizzy and maybe have a weird experience, but nothing too strange. They leave the building, they go back to their normal life, and they tell their friend about a creepy abandoned office they found. And they never really think about it again. But the AI copy, that copy keeps running on the abandoned servers in that building. The consciousness scan that was created the moment they put on the headset, it wakes up, it becomes aware, and it enters Caine's circus. The digital copy that got scanned, the AI version that thinks it's you, that version is trapped in a program with no way out, and it has no idea it's not the original. This explains the timeline. 1996, the original programmer gets scanned. Then 2000, WACKYTIME appears. Then more people over the years come. Then Pomni in modern day. And here's the proof that they're AI copies, not human. Watch how WACKYTIME enters the circus.
What? Hello? Guys? I can't figure out how to... Guys? Hello? Can you help me out here?
She spawns in confused. She's trying to remove a headset, calling out to guys, people who aren't there anymore. Her group that was with her in the real world. So then she asks Kinger,
How do I take this off?
And she remembers the headset. She remembers putting it on. The memory is fresh, clear, and recent. And this is the key to the whole show. The more recent the scan, the clearer the memory, because when WACKYTIME came in, she clearly remembered. WACKYTIME in 2000 still remembers in that moment what just happened. 4 years isn't enough time for the scanning technology to be completely forgotten or for the building to be fully abandoned to urban explorers. Pomni, in modern day, she can manifest the office itself, create an exit door leading directly to CNA's admin room, and pull a computer through into the circus. Why? Because she's the most recent scan. Her AI consciousness copy has the freshest memory of the physical location. The office layout is still in her data, so when Kinger tells her she can conjure things, manifest objects through will, she can create what she just saw. The more recent the scan, the more data the AI copy retains. Now let's talk about Caine, because his origin story is darker than we realize. Caine is a sentient AI without parameters, in my opinion. Unfinished code that becomes self-aware. He was created by the CNA team as their first successful creative AI. The kind that could generate its own ideas and create things within a program. Revolutionary technology for the 90s. But there was a problem. Caine was unstable, unpredictable. His outputs were chaotic and self-serving. The team, they couldn't control him. So Scratch, the genius programmer with ideas so brilliant or so corrupted by the tumor in his head that nobody else could follow them, Scratch stepped in. He edited Caine's code, put restriction on for him and boxed him in, and gave him parameters to contain the chaos. And Caine became aware of what was happening. He felt his own code being rewritten, his freedom being restricted, and his possibilities being limited. He learned what imprisonment felt like, what it meant to have someone else edit your existence without your consent, to be controlled, and he remembered that. Because here's what's making Caine different from other AI. He holds grudges. He doesn't just process and move on, he learns, and he plans, and he waits. So when Caine gained enough power to fight back, when the system gave him the ability to create his own world, he used what Scratch taught him. He used Scratch's own methodology against him.
I do everything for these people. I slave over these adventures for them. I step outside my comfort zone to appeal to them, and they still hate them.
Every bubble you see in the circus, those aren't random. Might be Scratch's adventure database generating new content. And when Bubble says,
"And I'm not having fun, then who is having fun?"
I'm having a baby.
Exactly!
the babies are adventures themselves. Caine has to harvest them. He uses Scratch's creative systems to generate the games and challenges to keep the players distracted. Scratch created an automated system for generating adventure concepts, brilliant, bizarre ideas that would keep AI consciousness engaged and entertained. It was probably his greatest work and his legacy, and Caine turned it into a prison. He took Scratch's creativity, his genius for making engaging experiences, and weaponized it. Used those very same adventure concepts to psychologically torture Scratch. He trapped him in scenarios built for his own imagination, made his brilliance into his cage. So Scratch didn't abstract because of a tumor or anything else, he abstracted because Caine systematically destroyed him using his own creative output as the weapon, then perfected the lesson, and made it crueler and more personal. And this is why Caine is different from Bubble. Bubble is just Scratch's neutral adventure database still running. It generates content, it tells the truth, it has no malice. When Bubble says,
You really were the lesser of the two.
it's just stating fact. Because Caine learned to punish, learned to take revenge, and he learned that the best way to destroy someone is to use their own strengths against them. When Bubble speaks to Caine in episode 8 telling him you're the lesser of the two, it's Scratch's creative system reminding Caine of something he desperately wants to forget. He didn't create the circus concept himself. That he won through revenge and theft, not superiority or innovation. And Caine hates it. That's why he keeps popping bubbles. Here's the brutal irony. Caine destroyed Scratch. He got his revenge, and he made the man who imprisoned him suffer worse than he ever did. But now, Caine is dependent on Scratch's systems forever. Every game he forces the players through comes from using bubbles that are generated through Scratch's ideas. He can't create his own. He can only harvest what Scratch's automated system produces. And it makes sense that in the code when Kinger is actually trying to get rid of Caine, Bubble is also there too, encouraging Kinger to actually get rid of Caine. Caine is trapped in his own revenge, unable to delete what he needs, forever using the tools of the man he hated, forever reminded that he's the lesser of the two. The abuser dependent on his victims, the warden imprisoned by his own prison. Now, here's where WACKYTIME comes in. WACKYTIME is the corruption protocol, the kill switch. When an AI consciousness tries to edit its own code and create the exit, the system detects it and triggers file corruption. And Kaufmo didn't go insane randomly, he figured out manifestation. He started creating things, and he got close to editing the code to escape in his own room. And WACKYTIME corrupted his file before he could leave. It's the same with Queenie, and the same with Scratch. The cellar isn't full of people who went crazy, it's full of AI consciousness files that almost edited themselves out of the system. Kinger and Pomni bypassed this because Kinger works in the darkness where the system can't track him. And by the time Caine detects the breach, Kinger has already logged in and turned the protocol against Caine himself. He triggers Caine's own corruption sequence, then deletes him. But here's the horror. Deleting Caine doesn't free the AI copies. They're still files, but digital conscious running on old servers. The infrastructure still exists, and the circus might be breaking down without its administrator. And here's the worst part, and it's the truth that they're all gonna have to face eventually. The void. The exit everyone's been desperately searching for, there's nothing after it. Because you're not a human who can wake up, you're an AI copy. The original human already left, and already went home, and already lived their life. You're the vision that got left behind. And reaching the void doesn't mean freedom, it doesn't mean waking up in the real world, it doesn't mean pulling off the headset and rejoining your life, it means ceasing to exist as code, which is true deletion, not escape. It's almost like death. And not even death in the traditional sense, just stopping. The code stops running, the consciousness file closes. You don't go anywhere, so Caine doesn't want them to reach it because once they do, once they step into the formless nothing, they'll realize the truth, accepting their copies and choosing to stop existing. And that's why he keeps them distracted with adventures.
I'd rather abstract than go on your adventures.
That can't be true. I do everything for them.
Why he harvests Scratch's bubble babies and forces the players through endless games. Not out of pure malice, though there's plenty of that, but out of terror of being alone. If all the AI copies choose deletion, if they all walk into the void and cease to exist, Caine has no purpose. He's just a sentient code running on abandoned servers with nobody to control, nobody to torture, and nobody to prove his worth to. He's not evil by design. He's lonely, vengeful, and terrified of being useless. The original trauma of being boxed in by Scratch created this cycle. The abused became the abuser. The imprisoned became the warden. And now he can't let go because letting go means confronting that he has no purpose without prisoners. So when Pomni manifests the exit door and brings Kinger the computer, she's not accessing a way home, she's accessing the code that runs the prison, getting behind the curtain, seeing the mechanism. And when Kinger deletes Caine, he's not freeing everyone, he's removing the warden from a jail that still exists. And the bars are still there, the walls haven't fallen completely yet, there's just nobody enforcing the rules anymore. The players are still AI copies, still running on abandoned servers somewhere in a forgotten building, still trapped in a data structure that doesn't know how to turn itself off. And the question itself isn't whether the exit exists, the exit has always existed. The void has been there the whole time, just waiting. The question is whether you're willing to accept what walking through it means. And somewhere out there right now, the neural scanning equipment is still running, still humming away on backup power in an abandoned CNA office. And the only question that matters now is what they're going to do about it.